Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Well, let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Investigator Hour 2911 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, Am I the arsehole for demanding to go through my brother-in-law and his girlfriend's bags if they are staying with us? I have a pretty severe dairy allergy. I break out in hives, struggle to breathe, and have to carry 2 EpiPens with me everywhere. If I get any dairy in my system, I'll end up in the ER. My in-laws know this and have been extremely accommodating since my fiance and I started dating 5 years ago. When we moved in together 2 years ago, we set strict rules for our home because of my allergy. The big one is that no one is allowed to bring anything that contains dairy into our house ever. No matter what. On to the current story. My brother-in-law started dating his girlfriend a year and a half ago. They came to visit us for the first time a year ago. My fiance made sure my brother-in-law explained my allergy to his girlfriend and our no dairy rule. 2 years into their stay, she brought dairy products and cooked lunch for herself when we weren't home. I ended up in the ER because of cross-contamination. She apologized and explained she hadn't understood how serious my allergy was. We managed to put the situation behind us since both my fiance and I currently have and want to keep a good relationship with my brother-in-law. The two of them came for a second visit 9 months ago. We had a video call with brother-in-law and his girlfriend before the trip to make sure she understood the severity of my allergy and how serious we are about the no dairy rule. During their second trip, I was taking out the trash and found candy bar wrappers and an empty milkshake container in the guest room trash, the room she was staying in. Even after she saw how serious my allergy is and how I ended up in the ER, she still brought dairy into our house. I confronted her when they got back. She and brother-in-law had a huge fight. Brother-in-law went through her stuff and threw out everything she had with dairy. We kicked out his girlfriend. Brother-in-law stayed for the rest of the planned trip. Brother-in-law and his girlfriend worked out the relationship after the trip and are still together. Since their second trip, brother-in-law has come alone since I don't trust his girlfriend in our house. Well, brother-in-law is planning a new trip with us and his girlfriend wants to come too. At first, we just said no. We don't trust her. But since we know this is important to brother-in-law, we came up with what we believe is a good compromise. She can come and stay at our place, but we will look through her bags every time she comes back to our place. And if she doesn't accept that, she can stay at a hotel or stay home. Now I'm being called an arsehole for treating her like a criminal and that checking her bag is an invasion of privacy. So, am I the arsehole for demanding to go through her bag if she's staying at my house? No, at this point, it's not about treating someone like a criminal, it's actually keeping yourself alive. Your brother-in-law's girlfriend has twice brought dairy into your home. Once sending you to the ER and once secretly sneaking things in after seeing the consequences the first time. It's not about control or anything like that in this, and a bag check in this situation is absolutely reasonable considering what's already happened, but Ryzan says, she's broke your trust twice and she's calling you an arsehole. She's the arsehole. T's Luck says exactly. She's the one who nearly killed OP twice and now she's acting like she's the one being wronged. She should be grateful OP's even given her another chance. Holly Prissy Pants says exactly. I honestly wouldn't let her back into my house. Yes, you're very kind OP. Edit, yes I could use other words than kind, but I think overall OP gets the simple statement. Squirrel Bowl says, dude, why are you letting her back in? You trying to die. Of course you're not the arsehole, for fuck's sake. And Luna's favorite says, seriously, do hotels not exist where OP is? I would never let that woman back into my home again. And one more comment from Bice who says, I wouldn't either. I get why OP feels the way she does. But if it's to the point where she feels she has to frisk girlfriend every time she walks in the front door just to feel safe in her own home, then she needs to stop allowing girlfriend over altogether. So one day after this one, OP comes in with an update and says, I didn't plan on writing an update, especially not so soon, but a lot has happened in just one day. But first I want to clear up some misconceptions around their second visit to our home. I did not get sick from brother-in-law's girlfriend having candy bars and a milkshake cup in the trash, or some candy bars in her bag. That wasn't the problem. The issue was that while knowing our no dairy house rule, I had not only seen but also been responsible for me going into anaphylactic shock, and I had gotten an in-depth explanation of my allergy and why it is important to us to keep our home dairy free. She still brought my known allergen into my house, my safe space. That is why we fought with her and kicked her out of our house. On to the update. After the first 500 or so comments telling me I'm an idiot for even considering letting this woman in, it was a danger to my health back into my house, I realized I was listening way too much to the part of me who just wanted to keep the peace and was downplaying the seriousness of the past incidents in my mind. I kept thinking the first time she might have not known how serious my allergy was, and it was an accident. And since I didn't get sick the second time she brought dairy into my home, I was exaggerating how bad it was. I know it sounds insane, but after dealing with people who don't take allergies seriously for years, I've gotten used to apologizing and even downplaying my allergy to others. I sat down with my fiancé and discussed the whole situation. He explained how he doesn't want brother-in-law's girlfriend back in our home, but since I was willing to give her another chance, and it was my health affected by her previous actions, he felt I should make the final decision. He ended up texting brother-in-law to tell him our original no answer stands, and that he is welcome to stay with us, but she is not allowed in our house, especially since she hasn't even apologized for breaking our rule again, after she sent me to the ER the first time they visited. And I'm his family, and my health and well-being are more important to him than brother-in-law visiting. I wasn't here for this part, but this is what my fiancé told me happened. After he sent that message, brother-in-law called him and they talked. Turns out brother-in-law's girlfriend had told him that they reached out after their second trip. That we talked and I forgave her, but wasn't ready to have her back in my house yet. She's asked him to come with every time he has visited us. Brother-in-law always told her no, and that she would only be allowed to come with, and I told him I was ready to have her back in my house. He only asked she could come since it has been 9 months, and as far as he knew, I'd forgiven her. According to my fiancé, brother-in-law was extremely apologetic. I haven't had time to talk directly with him yet, but we have planned a video chat to get everything worked out tomorrow. The reason my brother-in-law didn't ask me directly about the situation and believed his girlfriend is because he's aware of how traumatic an allergic reaction is to me, and I hate to talk about it after since I cannot stand to relive the situation. If anyone is interested, I can post a second update after I talk to my brother-in-law tomorrow, and hopefully have a final conclusion to this whole thing. Remarkable Pace says to that one, I swear, why do people always lie about stuff like this? Do they really think it's not going to come out? MCA says, or they think they are so clever and will get away with it. I would love to hear what brother-in-law says. Why he stays with his girlfriend is beyond me. Organized Chaos says this last part so much. Why stay with someone who is on the record with lies, deceit, and disregard for the safety of others? No empathy whatsoever for someone who, if everything went well, you'd be seeing regularly and tied to for the most of your adult life as family. Pokemon evolve better than this dingbat. Opie comes in with another update and says, So, I've talked to my brother-in-law. We had a long and emotional conversation. I won't post it all here, since some of the stuff we discussed is personal, but I still wanted to update you guys. To start, brother-in-law kept apologizing and saying he should have checked with us, not just believed his girlfriend or now ex-girlfriend. He went on to explain how the reason he wanted to talk with me today instead of yesterday after the call with my fiancé was because he felt like he had already failed us for believing his girlfriend. We do not agree with this at all and do not blame him. So he wanted to show he is truly remorseful of everything that has happened, not just say the words but show it through actions. After the call with my fiancé, he confronted his ex. Ex first tried to convince him that I was lying and trying to ruin their relationship. That didn't work, so she tried to manipulate him with tears. Brother-in-law explained it as now that he has fully seen all of her crazy behavior. He immediately saw how manipulative she is. A lot more happened, but I won't go into detail, since it isn't my story but my brother-in-law's. The end result is that he broke up with her. He also told us more that we didn't know, including how they actually broke up after the second time they visited us. He didn't want to be with someone who clearly didn't care about the people in his life by putting someone in danger. He explained that they were broken up for about 2 months and only got back together after she sent him a message saying she had reached out to me and we had worked things out because she felt awful, but didn't expect anything from him. Now it's clear it was just manipulation to get back together with him. More we didn't know is that brother-in-law hasn't been happy where he currently lives for the last year or so. And one of the reasons he often comes to visit us is because he's been considering moving to our area. So I have a feeling she's been doing all of this crazy stuff in hopes we would blame brother-in-law. And if we were mad or low contact with him, he wouldn't move. More manipulation, I won't put it past her. Brother-in-law also sent out a message to their extended family explaining the whole situation. In case she reaches out to family in this way, I won't have to relive the trauma surrounding an allergic reaction to explain what's been going on. I also told brother-in-law and my fiancé about what it's like for me to have a serious allergic reaction for the first time, what it feels like, and the absolute horror I go through. That was definitely the hardest part of the conversation for me. Neither my fiancé or I blame brother-in-law. The way I see it, he's a good guy who sees the best in people and who has been manipulated by his ex. He is still more than welcome to stay with us. And with everything he told us about how he's been feeling lately, we're excited to have him stay with us and hopefully be able to help him out with everything going on. A lot more was said and talked about, but I think these are the important parts for the update. If I've forgotten anything, I will add an edit here. Also, thank you to everyone who commented and helped out with the situation. Hopefully this is the last part and we can go back to focusing on our wedding. Soulart says, yikes, X is an awful human being. I'm happy that brother-in-law was able to see beyond her act and move on. Sunshine Drama says, looks like the ex-girlfriend bit off more than she could chew, and brother-in-law finally saw the light. Kudos to him for being mature about the whole situation, and now you have a potential new housemate. Win-win. But now I'm going to turn this story towards you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit from Geek Girl 1987, and it says, Am I the arsehole for not inviting one girl to my daughter's birthday party? I, 35 female, have an 8-year-old daughter who's turning 9 next month. She goes to a small school and there are only 6 other girls in her year. For her birthday, she asked for a small sleepover party with just the girls from her class, which I'm happy to host at mine. Here's the issue. One of the girls in her year has been relentlessly bullying her for the past 6 months. She's flushed one of my daughter's toys down the toilet, regularly yells at her during break time, kicked her in the head. Yes, really. And most recently, threatened to kill her pets. My daughter has come home in tears multiple times, and I've spoken to the school, but not much has changed. Given all this, I told my daughter she absolutely doesn't have to invite this girl to her birthday. I don't want to teach her that politeness and keeping the peace should come at the cost of her own mental health and safety. I was bullied at school and couldn't escape it for the same reasons. If this were an adult friendship, I'd be telling her to cut the toxicity out of her life. I don't think a birthday party should be an exception. Is where I might be the arsehole. My ex-husband, her dad, thinks we should invite the girl because it's the kind thing to do, and that's we should be teaching her to include everyone. He says it's mean to invite all the other girls but exclude just one, and that we're teaching our daughter to be cold and unkind. I get that on the surface excluding one kid might seem harsh, but does that still apply when the kid has made your child's life miserable? I don't want to be petty, but I also don't think my daughter should have to play host to someone who actively bullies her, just to avoid social awkwardness. So Reddit, am I the arsehole for not wanting to invite one girl to my daughter's party? Nope, nope, and nope. This isn't about teaching your daughter to exclude people, it's about teaching her that she doesn't have to invite a literal bully to celebrate her special day. That girl kicked your daughter in the head, threatened to kill her pets. That's seriously concerning behavior, and you're absolutely right. You don't want to teach her that politeness and keeping the peace at her own expense. Absolutely not. Upset Fail says, no, fuck that. The kid's a bully, and your daughter shouldn't have to put up with it on her birthday. And I wouldn't want that girl in my house. I mean, why bother says, sounds like a good time for this bully to realize actions have consequences. When you torture another kid relentlessly, no, you're not invited to their birthday party. Ising said it's called boundaries and making good choices. If the bully girl's mum wants to take it up with you, why her kid wasn't invited, let it be that conversation that needs to happen. Long Oil says, not the arsehole, you don't invite bullies to parties. Life is not a Disney movie, and it's not up to children to heal each other. Any issues that kid has are not yours to solve. Opie updated this one and says, well, as a first-time poster and a long-time fan of this forum, that escalated quickly. I had to mute my notifications. I genuinely did not expect my original post to blow up the way it did. I thought maybe a handful of people might respond, but wow. The comments had me giggling, welling up, fist pumping, and more importantly, standing my ground. I read every single take, and I have to say, you showed up. The solidarity, the theories, no, I do not know if he's sleeping with her mum, the sheer volume of support, better than therapy. No shade to therapists. The themes and perspectives shared were powerful. I feel like I'm not crazy and I've been listening to the wrong voices for too long. Here's the update you all deserve. No, I will not be inviting the bully to my daughter's party. The collective hive mind gave me the nerve and clarity to say, actually, no, we're not doing that, to my ex-husband today. I'm protecting my girl, full stop. No more second guessing, no more maybe I'm overreacting, no more guilt. Just be clear, calm mama bear doing what's right. Being a parent is hard. Co-parenting with a man who has a history of belittling my voice is harder. But this thread gave me strength I didn't know I had. I won't forget it. I promise to update you all when my co-parent rears his arsehole face again. I'm sure it won't be long. From the bottom of my permanently scared I'm doing the wrong thing little mum heart, thank you. Love from a very empowered mum who knows she did the right thing. Instructions unclear says, oh, good for you. I was hoping you would end up sticking up for your daughter, and she will remember you defending her as the years go on. But Penny says, co-parenting with a man who has a history of belittling my voice, and then says, he's basically the bully's co-conspirator at this point. I find that mad that your child's being bullied and you're like, yeah, maybe we should invite the bully to her party. That's absolute madness from the ex there. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the best of no updates subreddit from a throwaway account that says, my 29 female friends have been trying to sleep with my ex-husband, 29 male. Our divorce isn't even finalized yet. We were together since we were 18, married since 21, have been in the middle of a divorce for 6 months. The divorce has been pretty brutal and my ex has become a different, crueler person since this started. So when he told me some of my friends were trying to fuck him, I didn't believe him. I thought he was lying to try and hurt me, especially since my best friend was one of the friends he claimed was trying to sleep with him. I just couldn't believe she would do something like that to me. He told me this 2 months ago, and I chose to continue being friends with him, and I stopped having any contact with him. I saw him again in person on Wednesday, because we're at a stalemate on divorce negotiations. My lawyer suggested I give him something he wanted to try and get things moving, so I agreed to have dinner with him. Predictably, it didn't end well. Things were already tense between us. So when he brought up my friends apparently trying to fuck him again, it turned into a huge fight. I asked him what he was gaining by lying to me, and if he hadn't hurt me enough already. He insisted he wasn't lying, and he was telling me because he cared about me. I got upset at this and was going to leave, but he stopped me and forced me to read the text they were sending him. I feel so fucking dumb and hurt. I've known most of these friends for as long as, if not longer, than my husband. Every time I think divorce might not be the right choice, they've been encouraging me to see it through because my ex is a bad person. But if he's such a bad person, why do they want to sleep with him? I don't know what to do. I've been thinking about confronting them, but I don't know if it's worth it. What should I do? Notorious Dad says, sounds like you have bad friends. How much have they influenced your dissatisfaction with your marriage? If they weren't part of the context, would your fight with your husband be the same intensity? Subjects, would you have the same reinforcement or guidance on what your opinion should be? If you know that your friends have been sabotaging your relationship and you know that your husband still cares, do you reassess and pause while you sort through things? Do you talk to your husband and listen without speaking so you can really hear what he's saying? I have no idea about your interactions, but I'm guessing your friends were jealous of your relationship and threw fuel on the flames by supporting you. Opie says they had an influence. I don't think I would have filed for divorce when I did, and I probably would have caved and dropped it without them. That being said, I felt like he never listened to me even before I started confiding in them. I don't know if things would be different if we paused the divorce. Plus now, there's more bad blood between us. Someone says, who initiated the divorce and why? Opie says, me, because our marriage wasn't a partnership. It was a do whatever he wants ship, and no matter how many times I told him I was unhappy, he wouldn't listen. Someone says, what are some examples? Opie says, every decision, big or small, he made unilaterally. From us suddenly moving to France for 6 months to us spending the weekend with his friends. He wouldn't ask me if I wanted to do these things. He decided we would, so he just expected me to go along with it. And it's just one of those situations where I just say, they're not friends. They've shown you exactly who they are. Trashing your ex to your face while sliding into his DMs. The absolute betrayal, and how do you trust someone like that again? It's just simple as that for me, but what do you guys make of that situation? What would you do if you was OP? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much, and hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.